No doubt that a whole lot is going on in the build-up to the governorship and state houses of assembly elections before this Saturday. Back home in Edo State, the tension, the momentum is gearing up. And one question that's been on the lips of everyone is, what should be the consideration for the electorates to cast their votes? Is it based on performance of the present administration in the state? Is it based on the pedigrees of those who are contesting? Or is it based on the political affiliations of the electorates? Questions we are bringing forth on the show today. I'd like to thank our panelists quickly. Sosa, we're former Chief Press Secretary to Obaha Local Government. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, my brother, for having me. Thank you.
We also have with us in the studio Engineer Fidelis Esegbe, is a member of the All Progressives Congress Campaign Council. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, much later on the show, we'll be having Neville Obagedo as well as Barrister Awo Osagi to take the conversation further on today's package of Nigerian Decides. But gentlemen, let's get started. As always, my colleague is here, Philip Omogu. Thanks for coming.
Good to have
Anyways, this is an election that has been on the lips of everyone. I hear people say that, well, the PDP in Edo State is under intense pressure in moving towards this election. What's your reaction to that, Esosa?
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, good Edo people. Well, to say that a party is under pressure in an election is not a big deal. All parties have to be under pressure to galvanize support for their candidates. The Obaseki-led PDP and Edo State government has been at the forefront of delivering on the ideals of democracy, on the ideals of good governance, and the dividends of democracy for Edo people. But you have some other political parties who want to take over, who want to capture a very significant segment of our government. You have to be under pressure to ensure that Edo people are able to buy into your ideas and buy into the good things that you have done, so that this whole thing will be further, there'll be furtherance in the development of issues in Edo. So the governor has been in the forefront of delivering on the ideals of democracy in terms of infrastructure, in terms of power, in terms of human capacity development, in terms of building a government that is decent, a government where the child of a nobody can become somebody in a society where you must have to have one or two godfathers to be able to achieve certain things. But it's no longer like that in Edo.
Okay.
Anybody can tell you today in Edo that he is this, he is that. But when you check the background of that person or those persons, you can see that they're coming from a very humble background. When we say humble background in Nigeria, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. But Edo is now opened to Edo people. The Godwin Obaseki-led government has been able to open the space for popular participation. It's been able to open the space for intellectual discourse. It's been able to open the space for competitive discourse. And now anybody from anywhere in Edo State can aspire to be anything. And that is what we want to continue in Edo. Okay. We don't want the issue of you are not connected to this godfather, you are not connected to this godmother, and so you can't get anything. You must be able to get something in Edo, whether you are connected to any godfather or not. Far as you have the capacity, far as you have the intellectual readiness, far as you are committed, far as you are ready to work, you are dutiful. And I think that is what we are discussing about in Edo today. Right, and that is what we want to further.
Fidel, let's get your take on this. The talks about this Edo State House of Assembly election. I mean, there's no governorship election in Edo State. That's an established fact, unlike several other states of the Federation. But with the House of Assembly election, it's even more topical, it's even more intense compared to states that has governorship election pending, they have House of Assembly. And I also hear people talk about this election is beginning to provide a platform for the resurgence of godfatherism. I'd like to get your take along those lines.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Edo people. This is not the first time we are having a staggered election that has to do with Edo State House of Assembly in Edo. I think this is there about the third time. Oshomole's second term, Obaseki's first term, and second. This is the third time we are having Edo State House of Assembly election without the governorship election. The pressure, like you said, is not something that is new. Like my brother said here, that every political party who wants to win election should be on their toes to make sure that they convince the electorate to vote for their various political parties. This particular one seems to be a bit different and peculiar. This, the interest that is involved and the timing, you know. Like he said, he spoke so much about the achievements of the governor, that he has done that, he has done this, you need to know nobody, a child of nobody can become something. It's okay, but I'm afraid this election is not about the governor. The governor is not on the ballot. It is the 24 members of the Edo State House of Assembly from various political parties that are on the ballot. And if you are bringing in the achievements of the governor to now make people vote for a man who will sit in Tony Enahoro's Avenue, there's a difference, even in law, there's a difference between Tony Enahoro Avenue and Osadebe Avenue.
But they must work in synergy.
Making of laws,
yes,
and executing the laws.
Yes.
That does not mean they will have to fight though. But what I am trying to say is that the pedigree of the person who is on the ballot is also very, very important. If you just need to ride on the pedigree of your principal and you have no integrity at all, then I am afraid if we still have democracy. But then again, if we also want to go further, looking at the integrity of the person they want to ride on, like he said, it will even be worse, it will be more disastrous, you know, until we get there. But let me tell you, sir, what will happen on Saturday is that Edo people will come out and vote based on what they have seen and experienced in the last 3 years. Edo people will come out to vote if their houses have been demolished in the last 3 years. Edo people will come and vote if taxes and rates are equal. Edo people will come and vote if Edo and Attorney General joined in the hardship of Naira scarcity that we have today. These are the basic issues why Edo people will vote on Saturday. So saying that you don't need to know a godfather or a godmother or whatever, those are past. What they are passing through today is the reason why Edo people will vote on Saturday.
We've been following developments, and I quite got your expression when Sonny Duke asked you about the political parties being under pressure, most especially even the PDP. Now, the governor actually is the executive governor, and the elections we're having, or we're going to be having March 18, is a legislative election.
Absolutely.
Some are asking, what is the grouse that the governor is having if there's a different twist in this election? Because it's more robust if we have different parties, you know, to look at issues of oversight functions in the House of Assembly. So what's the grouse of the governor if it has a different twist come March 18?
Well, parties have they are at liberty to campaign for their various candidates. It is fortunate that we have a governor who is PDP, and PDP candidates are in the ballots. We have 24 of them. I don't think it is a misnomer for a state governor to chest out, to campaign for candidates that are in the same party with him in an election that concerns him basically. This is a legislative poll. The legislature and the executive in the past have been seen on several occasions to be at loggerheads. The last legislators that were elected, they ran away. They took off from the house. They didn't present themselves for inauguration. Up to today, we've not seen them. Their people gave them their votes, and at the end of the day, they followed the advice and counsel of a particular godfather, and they were lodged in Abuja, lodged in hotels, and they were attending nightclubs and threw away the mandates of the people. And you expect us, as Edo people, to bring back those kind of persons, to come cause havoc in the house, to come cause confusion, to come fight our governor? We cannot allow that. I think even if we are not going to have all PDP in the house, we must have persons who have backgrounds. We must have persons who have intellectual capacity to be able to discuss on the line of development, not on the line of fights, not on the line of political wars. We don't need that anymore in Attorney Narrow Complex. If my brother is saying the governor is not, of course the governor is not on the ballots. But next year, by the grace of God, we'll be having gubernatorial campaign in governorship election in Edo. But this is an election. If the governor is going to succeed in his 8-year term, it is the legislature. It is the legislature that determines it.
Okay, obviously,
it is the legislature that determines it.
A rubber stamp.
It's not a rubber stamp.
Okay.
It's not a rubber stamp. I have just given you a scenario of legislators who were elected in 2019. Up until now, they are not in the house. We do not have a complete house. But the governor, even though we have an incomplete house, has still been able to do certain things that has brought about change and development in our society. But we don't want a repeat of what happened in 2019, where you elect people and they throw away the mandate of constituencies. We have a lot of constituents now that are not represented in Edo State House of Assembly. Is that what we want again? No.
Okay, we have this development and some are asking questions. What exactly is the drive of the party under the governor? Is it that he wouldn't want a legislation, a legislature that would take an oversight function and even look at ways in which these oversight functions, even if it means going against the policies of the governor as part of the state. Is that what the governor is afraid of?
The governor and the people of Edo State wants a robust legislature that the executive and Attorney Narrow Complex can sit down to discuss issues and ideas in Edo. Not a kind of legislature that will be taking directives from persons, from non-state actors who are not even in the house, to disturb a working government.
But elections have not come. Elections have not come yet, and
election is marketing.
And these persons are not in the house yet. So why haven't
we already had it? We already had a precedent. We don't want that precedent anymore.
Okay, Susan, let's
proceed.
Let's proceed.
I don't know if you get me.
Fidelis, let's get your reactions on all of these as relates to. We have an incomplete House of Assembly that has been midwifing the legislative business until just now that we're on the verge of having another election. Hopefully, we'll have a complete House. The perception there is that these guys were elected, they didn't come for inauguration, but we also saw those who came for inauguration on short knickers. Probably they were picked from their bedroom or something, but we saw that on the floor of the House. Let's get your take along those lines as we move towards March 18.
Sir Duke, let me tell you, or correct that notion, there is no House of Assembly. Schedule 5 to 52 of the Nigeria Constitution that dealt with the legislative arms of government. It's clear that no House of Assembly shall be less than 24. It's not enshrined in semantic ambiguity. It's very clear. No House of Assembly shall be less than 24 members. My brother should tell me how many we have there, but we already know. And like he said, that some persons were voted in and they are seconded. Until today, they have not seen them. But in another twist, he said they are also presenting themselves again for another election. If you say you have not seen them and they are also on the ballot, it means they've been around. What happened was this: the governor didn't proclaim the house. The word proclamation, like I have always said, means public announcement. Check your dictionary meaning of proclamation. You don't make proclamation in your bedroom or your sitting room. It is called public announcement. The governor proclaimed the house on this 17th, according to the letter written to the clerk. And it was published on Observer on the 19th, after the inauguration had been held, when people were sleeping in their houses and some were taken, adopted, when they were going to buy suya, and others were kidnapped. But however, that the people are squandered is a typical lie. What they were just trying to protect is to protect the fact that they are afraid that the popularity of the sitting governor cannot withstand the integrity of the people who have voted in the assembly, because they were going to challenge some certain policies. But then again, I didn't even want to go too deep, because we followed this story from the beginning to where it is as it is today. The governor wanted to protect his own interest, while those who have voted wanted a house where they could sit down and elect who they want, either as speaker, deputy speaker, majority leader, or otherwise. But the governor wanted somebody who he wants. And the people says the constitution allows us to choose within us, because who becomes speaker and deputy speaker, the principal officer, is a sole responsibility of those who are elected and not the executive arm. What happened is that the executive arm wanted to dictate for them who will be principal officers in the house. Simple. If you had put these people together in the daytime, in the afternoon, and say, sit down, majority carries the day, and see who becomes the speaker. And if that was not the issue, why was the inauguration done while people were sleeping in the night?
How will all of this affect Saturday's election?
Saturday's election, like I said before now, the wrongs must be right. Some things that were done wrongly before, even if, you see, when you leave the hand of the monkey in the pot of soup for too long, it becomes a human hand. So what we are trying to do in APC is that we want that hand of the monkey, before it becomes a human hand, let us tell the people that you can still eat it. It is monkey, it's not human hand. If you allow it to happen, another governor will come and issue a proclamation letter on a Sunday, and it becomes a norm. So what they are trying to do is, let me tell you, I have had conversation with those who are among the 14, not all who are in the ballot now. I've had conversation with them. They are not concerned about the head of the governor or the seat of the governor. They are just coming to say, yes, we want to go to that assembly and right the wrong. So how it affects on Saturday election is this. For some of us who were not properly represented, we want to also send that person because we believed in him. And other constituency who believed in their people, they return those people to say, come, that we asked you to go, and they refuse you into the house. It was a deliberate attempt. If it is not deliberate, sir, why would there be a proclamation on the 17th and it was published on the 19th, which is first against the law? Two, who else in Nigeria, even Bauchi, that had the same issue? Bauchi had their inauguration around 7 early in the morning. It was resolved within 2 weeks. And our was in the night when people were sleeping. Until today, it has not been resolved. If there were no other issues behind it. How it's going to affect the Saturday election, sir, is that the people who, the governor and the players in PDP now, like me, I'm suffering representation. We will exercise and use our voters' card on Saturday to say, no, we must be represented in the Edo State House of Assembly. And that there is separation of power between the legislature and the executive arm of government.
Engineer Fidelis, please, I would like to critique what you've said. And your party is All Progressives Congress.
Yeah, the APC.
And it's expected that as part of the Progressives, you shouldn't do with issues that has to do with personal vendetta, that has to do with political vendetta. And what you've said so far, from A to Z, seems to be that the purpose of having these members or candidates into the election on the ballot is to pursue a political vendetta against the governor. Is that a progressive thought?
Like I said, if you listen very well, you can play again. I said the members are not coming and asking for the seat of the governor. They are coming to say that there is a separation between the executive arm and the legislative arm of government.
When they've not even entered the house.
That is, of course, if you are coming as a legislator, you should know that you are coming to make laws. If you are, is it when you come to the is it when you come to the house that you now know that you want to make law? As a legislator that you are contesting election, you should know that there is principle of separation of power. What I am saying is this, except you are getting the contest wrong. What I am saying is that they are coming to right the wrongs that they have. Those who are elected have the right to choose within themselves who becomes the speaker, the deputy speaker, majority leader, or the committee member.
Is it about positions or about representing their constituencies?
Representing their
bringing about ideas that will move the progress of the state.
Engineer, I thought it was supposed to be about
I didn't interject.
capacity.
I didn't
exercise,
interject.
just
Sorry.
Apologies.
Try and be patient.
Yeah.
Apologies.
The representation starts from being voted in, and in that voted in, there must be a leader amongst the equals. That is what caused this problem. If you are trying to shy away from it, that what caused this problem is not who leads the House of Assembly before the representation, you will not be totally true, my dear brother. The truth of the matter is that the system, as it then was 4 years ago or thereabout, they wanted A and this wanted B.
So it was basically as a result of power tussle.
The truth of the matter is this. The truth of the matter is that the governor wanted A, and those who were voted, the 24, wanted B. And those who wanted B had the majority. It is on the lips of everybody. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
The governor wanted A. Those who were voted, who is ordinarily supposed to be their primary business, to choose who leads them, the governor wanted to choose who leads them for them. Whereas the business of the governor in this was just to proclaim the house. And allow the 24 members sit down amongst themselves and agree who leads them.
Okay,
that's the issue.
Let's pursue there. So, sir,
Yeah.
there's a joy that comes when you have a legislative arm that is complementary to the efforts of the executive.
Absolutely.
But there's also a joy that comes when you have a legislative arm that is very robust, grounded and rooted in the spirit and letters of democracy, in such a way and manner that it is not just a rubber stamp. We have days not too far away where the legislature now became an arm of the executive, holding meetings or legislative business in the executive arena. I'd like to get your take as we move into March 18. How do you think all of this will cascade in influencing the outcome of the election based on the established perception of the people of Edo State, the electorate in Edo State, based on what happened last time, and then we're on the verge of getting into another election to bring some new people into the house?
I think we are exposed enough as Edo people to be able to clinically analyze the capacity of the persons we have in the ballots. These are not persons who came from nowhere and they want to contest for election. In Ikpobaha, Sonsei has been a leader in Ikpobaha Parliament 2 times. He has also achieved a lot in political leadership. In Noredo East and Noredo West, Isosai Modasun is a doctor. She's in the business of taking care of the people. Frank, the other guy, Frank, is a business person. In Ovia Northeast Constituency 1 and 2, Andrew Zame is a leader who knows how to manage an organization. The other guy, Charity Agbobarian, is a lawyer. He understands what it is to develop and make laws. You know, one day, Kesi Osamoyi has been in the business of political leadership for quite some time. He understands the business. Is it Oriamo, where you have Brati Yamu, and you have Nosa Okumbo, who has been in the house. Brati Yamu is a comrade. He has been in the forefront of struggle for the emancipation of the poor and the voiceless in our society. I have just been able to look at Edo South. Maybe another day we'll look at Edo Central and Edo North. But I don't think the incoming assembly, by the grace of God, the PDP assembly, will be a rubber stamp assembly. He said they were coming to correct, they are coming to right some. What wrongs? A governor that has been there for 7 years plus, and is leaving November 2024 by the grace of God, what wrong has it done that you are coming to correct in a year, in less than 1 year? So I think what we want, we need persons with capacity, persons with ideas, persons with experience, persons who can marshal out issues and sit with the governor and look at the governor eyeball to eyeball and say, I think these are the things we should do for Edo people. There is no rubber stamp House of Assembly in Edo. Edo people are not rubber stamp. Benin people are not rubber stamp. Edos are not rubber stamp. There is no way Edos can be rubber stamp. So if you are not there to fight a governor and exchange banters with the governor as if you are a wrestling ring, it doesn't mean you are a rubber stamp. That's what we don't, that's what the APC must understand, my brother and his party people. It's not about fighting the governor. It's not about antagonizing the governor. It's not about casting aspersions on the governor. You should be able to sit down on a round table with your state governor and discuss developmental ideas and issues.
Those who are saying,
that's where we are going.
Those who are saying this election is judgment day for the governor.
What judgment day? Is Jesus Christ coming? The only judgment day we know is when Jesus comes. March 18, 2023, this Saturday, Edo people are going to come out en masse and vote for their candidates. And who are the candidates? They know them.
Let's look at the performance of your party in the previous election. And the indices showed that the party didn't enjoy the votes of the people as compared to when they enjoyed the votes of the governor for his second term. Mm-hmm. What makes you think, or what do you think went wrong? And what do you think could be the possibility of, what do you think could eliminate the possibility of having a repeat of what happened in the previous election for your party?
I think there's a movement that is on in the life of our nation. There's a movement. And that movement, we can all say that it played a lot of impact in the last election, the presidential and national assembly election, everywhere in the country. It's basically youthful driven. You have youths who says that they are angry, they are tired of the system, they want a change in the system.
Even including your party?
But you have youths across boards, who says they are angry. But I think you do not necessarily need anger, depression, and frustration to change a system. What you need is discourse. What you need is understanding. What you need is intellect. What you need is experience and approach. And that is what my party is bringing to the board, March 18. So that played huge impact in the last election. But I think a lot of corrections are being made, even as we speak. A lot of corrections are being made, especially on the side of our brothers and sisters on the other side, who think that they can change this with anger, insults, and all that. All those things are going away gradually. So I believe that on March 18, there is not going to be a repeat of what we had 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's not going to be a repeat because people are not exposed. They are better exposed. They now understand that you have to be critical about issues, not just being angry about issues.
Okay.
So I think we have a lot to bring to the fore
Fidelis,
by the time our people get to the house.
You highlighted some of the things that will shape Saturday's election. But you and I know that in the last 7 years, going into 8 years in this country, things have really not been rosy. Insecurity, the state of the economy, the Naira sub-deal and fuel scarcity were two critical issues that happened simultaneously and really, impacted the people, and they are yet to recover from that. Do you think that Edo people will forget that in making their choices on Saturday?
Edo people will not forget those unfriendly times in making their choices on Saturday. If you say in the last 8 years or 7 years, we are dovetailing it to Edo, right? Only but recently the governor left the APC. So within the last 7 years, the present governor was in APC. So he could also be part of the hardship. Then if you talk about the Naira crunch, you will remember that the governor, through his Attorney General, filed a case, joined the CBN to agree that Nigerians' money, including Edo people's money, should be kidnapped and put inside the CBN. The case he is aware. The governor joined. The hardship. So these are the indices and factors that will determine the voting style and pattern of on Saturday. You see, you cannot just come out. The least educated person in Edo has local intelligence. What I mean is that man, woman, who has never acquired Western education in Edo, has local intelligence to understand that what is happening in Edo today, it is not a function of what is in the presidency. It is what is here with us. Like I just said, how could we be passing through? I have not seen a naira for how many months now? Because our governor joined the suit to tell CBN to kidnap our money and put them in the safe. So these are the bases that will form the voting style on Saturday. They asked that what will form the voting style on Saturday, please. What will form the voting style on Saturday, sir, is basically that what have we experienced in Edo over the time that the governor said on tape that he is no longer contesting election, that is ready to give us a high-handed governance, that the governor took over 3 community over and demolished people's houses. It will form basis of voting on Saturday. It's not Isegbe Fidelis that did that. What will form the basis of voting on Saturday is the hardship, domestic hardship. Domestic hardship.
Yes.
Domestic hardship that Edo people are passing through.
At every opportunity.
It will form the basis
at every opportunity.
Voting on Saturday.
I would have thought.
Okay, you still have the floor, please. Let me ask you this. At every opportunity you've been given to express,
I would have thought
you've
that.
always,
We'll come to you,
you've always included the governor.
Oh, yes.
Now, this was actually what even transpired when you had a candidate on the ballot against the governor that contested with the governor on his second term, and the governor won because the people voted for him. They came out en masse. Now, what could give you the impression that the people, the electorate, are not going to make this count in favor of the party, PDP, in the coming election?
Okay, well,
and again, you had the last outing where there was an emergence of a new political party that also won some numbers. What do you think this could be affecting the possibility of the emergence of your party candidates?
Let me take you from the first to the last. In the last governorship election, lots of things happened that my brother here knows. I dare to say that APC defeated APC in the last governorship election. But I am indeed happy that what happened then, if you now marry it with what is happening now, those who eventually gave him the umbrella, they are struggling with the umbrella right now. We don't know where the umbrella is. Like he said in his opening speech, he said the governor, Godwin Obaseki led PDP. Probably maybe there's another PDP led by another person. And I don't want to actually go into deep about what happened in the last governorship election. He won, yes, he won. And now, just the recent polls on the 25th of February was a demonstration of the dissatisfaction of Edo people, was a demonstration of the dissatisfaction that these 24 candidates of PDP cannot ride on the shoulder, neck, or head of the sitting governor to win election. That if they must win any election, they must have credibility in their locals. I am from a local government. I know who the PDP candidate of my local government is.
I said, how does it affect your party?
How does it affect my party? It doesn't. It's affecting my party positively. How it affects my party is this: that as it is today, APC has 2 senators. We suggest that we have 2 senatorial districts out of 3, which is an overwhelming majority already.
Okay.
Then wait, the Labour, sir.
Yes.
Give me some time.
Just
you're going to break?
Yeah, we're concluding this segment. Let me get him to react to some of these issues.
Thought this.
I know what you're thinking there.
I thought this program was.
That's why we have taken.
I
That's
thought
why
it would be an avenue for us
Yes.
to establish the capacity of those on the ballot.
Yes.
My brother appears to be obsessed by the governor. I don't know what the governor has done to him. For us, the governor has done extremely well. They can go and verify. But I think he should be humble enough in a program like this and seize it as an opportunity to further sell the ideas of his party and his candidates, like I've just done. So I think we should. The governor, actually, the governor is on the ballot. You even told me that the governor was not on the ballot. But the way you are beginning to talk about the governor is as if the governor is the only person contesting for House of Assembly.
But the governor is campaigning
please,
massively, but he's not in the ballot. Yes.
We should please just sell your candidates. I am begging, so that we'll be able to have healthy. I'm a healthy discourse person. I don't like violence. Let's discuss on the path of healthy discussion, so that we'll be able to have a takeaway from here, rather than casting aspersions at unnecessarily. Thank you, my brother.
Okay, gentlemen, our time is up, and I want to say big thanks for coming on the show, because we're taking a break now for our next segment of Nigerian Decides. Fidelis Esegbe, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
As I were, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Uncle Sam.
We'll take a short break, and we will be back with you in a moment on our next segment of Nigerian Decides. Don't go away.